Shalom, family. This is a video response to those of you who reached out to us after the video where we talked about food stamps being cut off. At this point, I think it's important that we have a meeting of minds. And so this Sunday, September 29th, at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, we will be having a conference call. At the end of the video here, I will post the information there. For those of you who have already connected with me on Facebook, you probably already have the information. Anyways, we're going to be talking about some very important things. Many of you will have an opportunity to ask questions. I've already talked to many of you, as I've said before, but I think a conference call is in order to where we can lay out some very specific things and we can kind of like toss around ideas. Because at this point, we are very near to some things that are going to affect all of us. I've heard people say that, well, I'm not on food stamps, so that doesn't apply to me. Let me tell you why it does apply to you. Because as I stated before, those who find themselves in need are only going to give you a friendly knock, maybe 2 or 3 days. After that, they're going to be kicking the door in and climbing fences and doing God knows what to try to get what you have. And so therefore this is a problem that all of us must address. And so what we want to do is we want to talk. We want to talk about some of the things that we are doing for our family. I think it's time to start sharing. We've shared with many people before, but on a larger scale, I would like to talk to my people because many of you have no idea what you're capable of doing without exploring things. And many of us have tried so many different types of businesses and they haven't always panned out the way we want. And what I want to do is I want to encourage you all, not just with what we talked about with aggregating amongst ourselves, because that's very important, but we have to take care of home first. And so we would like to share some very important things with you all in business. And from that point, how do we aggregate? How do we pool resources for the greater good of all of our people? Now, there are a lot of issues to talk about which won't be covered in one meeting. Okay, so we're basically using this conference call to strategize together. There is no one person who has all of the answers. So that's why it's important to have a meeting of minds to see what we can come up with. I have a lot of wonderful ideas. My husband has a lot of wonderful ideas, and I'm sure many of you do as well. And so we have to take one step at a time. I am a firm believer that we don't have a lot of time. And so lollygagging is one of those things that we're going to have to see ourselves past. We have a lot of brothers and sisters who own a lot of land already. We have a lot of brothers and sisters who are already into farming. And I'm sure there are a lot of us who own our own businesses. But how do we bring all of that together under one roof? And when I say under one roof, I don't mean the formation of a corporation or anything like that. I mean, how do we aggregate that together as a group of people and work it to the benefit of all? We are going to have people who don't have anything to bring to the table at all. And someone posed that question to me, and I definitely have room in my heart for a person such as that, because if you don't have anything to bring, you certainly have 2 hands, right? You certainly have other skills. I remember a lot of the fellas that used to be in our employment were very hard workers. They came to us and they didn't have anything. One fella in particular, he was straight out of prison. You get what I'm saying? Straight out of prison. And he was one of the best workers we had. And to this day, we are trying to find him. When we moved here from Michigan, we lost touch with him. And I would love to have such a person in our community, because he was a hard worker. Very hard and very, very trustworthy. This was a person who would collect rent for us at one of our apartment buildings, and we knew that when we showed up there, this brother was going to have our rent money and our rent checks or whatever it was. So that says a lot about his character. And so basically, we are looking for a way. I still stand firm on if a man or woman don't work, they don't eat. So when I say that we have help for all, or that we would like to be able to help all, I don't mean that a person who is well and able to do something but won't. That kind of person, even the Most High says, get to stepping. Even the Most High says, if you don't work, you don't eat. So we have to be realistic in that regard. But again, this is not a one-person operation. This is not something where only one person has it all figured out. This, to me, is a strategy session. And people have them all the time. I don't want to put too much into it in terms of what needs to be done. Basically, we have work to do. And you can meet and meet and meet and strategize, but at some point, we have to start doing something. And I feel like, just like I said, this food stamp, not shortage, but the fact that they're going to be cutting off food stamps is going to force us into aggregation. So there will be no time for meetings when that takes place. We are already getting our Noah's Ark ready. We're already trying to make space for more. And I don't want to see that as a negative. You know, I've heard people speak very negatively about that. But I don't want to see it as a negative. I'm hoping that there will be people that are going to be realistic to understand that for any operation to work, that we have to work together. Hopefully someone will pick that phone up, or just halt for 1 second. But what we want to do initially is we want to just talk. I don't want to sit here and ramble all day in this video. I'm just really trying to inform you of our meeting this Sunday. Pulling our resources together, pulling our thoughts together, sharing information. What can we do now? How do we plan for the future? All of that is going to be very, very important. And I don't claim to know it all. I don't know if I've already said that. I don't claim to know it all. And neither does my husband. And there is no one of us who does know it all. All we can do is share ideas. And after the point of sharing, we have to start doing. As I said before, don't just be a hearer, but be a doer. Many of us, we get stuck. After we hear something that excites us for a minute, we get stuck. But if you look at it like this, if you look at it like, look, I only have 3 months, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe we have 6 months, who knows? But if you look at it like there is a deadline that you have to meet, then you'll get a little more excited and a little more anxious to do what you have to do. There are so many excuses circulating, and I think we're going to be forced past the excuses. We're going to be forced into action. Either your action is going to be good action or it's going to be bad action. Meaning you're going to work now to do what you need for later, or you're going to be one of those who carries out the plan of brutalizing others and bashing others over their heads so that you can make ends meet for your family. You don't want to go down that road, okay? You don't want to go down that road. Let's do what we can now. Let's talk about things now. Let's move towards things now. One step is all it takes, okay? Many of us, we can sit here, we can listen to this person and that person, you know, Pastor Dow, and so many others are talking about preparing and getting ready. You know, like I said, I'm not the only one. There are so many others who are telling people, look, you better get your house in order. But we can sit here in this immobile state all we want to. But if you choose to do that, you have to understand that there are consequences that will follow. So hopefully you all will have some time to chit-chat with us on Sunday. Again, it's at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to post the information at the end of this video and also underneath the video. And bring all of your questions and concerns, and we will do our best to address all of your questions. And any of you who have some information that you would like to share in the conference call, I would love it if you can contact me ahead of time so that we can do that, because we definitely want to We definitely want to get everyone on the same page. I'm going to say this before we go. The scripture says that a house divided against itself cannot stand. Okay? A house divided against itself cannot stand. And get this, you all. We are the house of Israel. We are the house of Israel. And we are so divided. And that's why, as a people, as a group, we are not standing. It's time for us to pull ourselves together. It's time for us to strengthen where we are weak. And it's time for us to lay aside petty differences about things that don't matter at this point. Okay, we all have families and children and friends that we're going to be concerned about. And I think the best time to deal with those concerns is now. With that, I'm going to say shalom, and please join us on Sunday, and the information will follow this video.